It's Love Week here on the Lipstick Effect, and we are showing so much love this week to an amazing brand. But first, let's not waste any time. Let's start the show. Welcome to another week here on the Lipstick Effect. I am your host, Jamila Bannister, brand strategist for beauty brands and then makeup artist and enthusiast. Love all things beauty, love all things branding, love all things business. So happy belated Valentine's Day to all my peeps, everybody who always comes onto the stream and shows it so much love. Hope you had a great time. Maybe, you got something nice from your boo. Maybe it was a new lipstick. Maybe it was a new fragrance and all of the things that we talk about here in the show, things to make you feel, smell, and look good. So a shout out to all my Valentine's people showing all the love. I tried to wear some red lipstick today. Even though Valentine's has come and gone, this is the way that I represent. I'm one day late and $1 short, but that's okay. I am here showing up for you. So I just want to say a big shout out to you. So as usual, we always have amazing guests on the show, and tonight's guest, I'm really excited to bring her out from backstage, which we will do in a little while. But before we do that, I have to tell you what's happening every other place in beauty. So let's start with a little news from around the world. All right, so I'm starting off tonight's news from around the world with an article that I found online on the Jamaica-star.com, and it's all about the phenomenon of skin bleaching. So, according to Jamaica-star.com, Alexander Brown, who is the organizer of the Miss Black History Month talent and pageant show, has said that he is absolutely adopting an absolutely no tolerance policy for skin bleaching. Now, if you know anything about Jamaican society and culture, skin bleaching is an issue among darker skin, especially women. It happens with men too, right? So it happens a lot among darker skinned people. And he said that he is absolutely not giving any room for people who bleach their skin to be entered into the pageant. So according to the article, I want to read a direct quote from him. He says, I think women should enter to gain some self-esteem and stop bleach, essentially. So they can send a message. I feel very bad when I see black women and girls bleach to get brown, essentially. And that spoils her skin tone. I feel very bad about it, and it is a big, big problem. So he, who is the organizer of this event, and he's been doing this for the last 20 years, said it is a high time that women work on their self-esteem and they want the pageant to be about that, so that they will not be allowing anyone who bleaches their skin to come into the event. And I have to say a shout out to that too. The only way to change certain things is to adopt a no tolerance policy towards it. And this is something that's absolutely dangerous to self. It's dangerous to your skin. It gives rise to you being susceptible to developing other complications with your skin. So you definitely don't want to bleach your skin. And why bleach? Just embrace your skin for what it is. So if you want to read the full article about that, just visit jamaica-star.com to read the whole story and to learn more about the pageant. I found that was an interesting tidbit of news. Now, as we're on the topic of news, I don't know how many of you watch the Super Bowl. Well, I don't watch football. I have no interest in sport. But I do take note of the ads that come out of the Super Bowl, and most of us do. And one ad in particular caught my attention. It is the ad that Google partnered with Lizzo on to advertise their Pixel 6 phone with the camera and the ad focused specifically on the camera's real tone technology. I think that's what they call it here. It says, yes, So they partnered with Google. So the ad specifically highlighted the real tone feature of the camera, which was designed specifically to pick up um people of color, and especially those with darker skin tones. Now, if you are somebody who has darker skin, or if you have taken a picture with somebody who is of darker skin, and sometimes you look back at that image, you would see, oftentimes you don't even see that person, right? So cameras have been designed to pick up the places with the most light. And if there's no light, or if they can't see, you literally look like a silhouette in the picture. Or the person, you might be the person who is next to the person who is darker skinned than you, and it may look like nobody's there. Or when the flash flashes on them, they look like a literal ghost. And I found that this was addressing an issue that has long plagued people of darker skin, and also photographers. There's a lot of lighting adjustment that you have to do, so you can't just pull out your phone and take a quick selfie, or take a cute selfie, or whatever you want to do, and feel good that it will actually look the way you would like it to look. So this particular type of technology I found to be really innovative. And I mean, if anybody has the the range in terms of resources and people to invest, it is Google. And I'm glad that they did that, because what that will force others to do now is to start looking at the cameras in their phones, and improving the technology so there is the real tone feature, right? So I want to say a huge shout to Google for that. Now, apparently, this phone is available on pre order. The phone itself was released last October. It was launched last October, and it's available for pre order now. But the ad highlighted that specific feature, which I found was really interesting and really helpful, especially now as most of us are producing content strictly with our phones, right? Our phones is like literally our production center. We film, we edit, we post, we answer questions, we do customer service, we do everything from our phones. So why not get the best? So shout out to Google for that. I really like that ad. What else I also came across this week now, in light of our interview and our guest today, who is of Latin heritage, I am. I was just doing some research on trends in the beauty industry, and according to Bloomberg.com, I found an article that really talked about how Latinos, right. So according to the article, it says in 2020, Latinos spent 13% more than the average shopper on beauty and personal care, according to the research firm Nielsen IQ. Now, that is a lot, right? So there's a growing number of internet personalities and Hispanic owned startups getting the message out, from influencer Marielle Marrero, I think that's her name, and her 6 million Instagram followers, and Treluce Beauty. I think that's how you pronounce it. Don't kill me if I did pronounce it wrong, right? A makeup brand launched in June by Billboard top 5 Latin female artist Becky G. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because our guest today um, is from originally from the DR, and she felt that there was a lack of representation, and that's a major part of the inspiration for this brand. So I'm excited to welcome her. I'm excited to bring her out. I know she's probably backstage. I know she's probably, eating some caviar, and I know she's probably, having some champagne, because our green room is lit, always on fire. She's probably shaking hands with a few celebrities back there, because that's the way it is. And but I'm going to say, Melissa, hi Melissa, we need you on stage. We need you on stage. Oh, so I'm seeing somebody that say Rachel. Is this actually Rachel tonight, or is this Rachel's 8-year-old? Either way, good night, Rachel. Thank you for being here. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Miss Melissa Polanco. Welcome from Ella's Eve Cosmetics.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you so much for giving me a platform.
Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for agreeing to be on the Lipstick Effect. We like to hear about new brands, and marketing and branding is our jam, and beauty is my jam. So I really like that. So Melissa, um, let's familiarize you with the audience. Tell us a little bit about you and introduce yourself. Let's hear about you.
Yeah, so my name is Melissa Polanco. I am a co-founder of LSE Cosmetics, which is a brand I founded along with my sister Lissa. We've been in the business for about 4 years now, and we started this brand because, like you mentioned earlier, we saw a lack of representation in the beauty industry for women that look like us. And even if you look at makeup brands or beauty brands, most are owned by men, which to me, like that, just like it blew my
Blows
mind.
your mind.
uh, it did. And even if even like subscription boxes, like the biggest subscription box right now is BoxyCharm. It's owned by a guy, and I didn't know that. Like I just recently learned that. So yeah, so there's just a lack of representation. We wanted to be part of this industry and just make a change and represent women that look like us.
Yeah, okay, great. Well, I mean, yeah, that is, that has always been an issue, and a few brands have tried to correct it in different ways. You know what I mean? Fenty Beauty tried to come up with a line that has much more representation for skin tones, and you definitely from a culture and heritage point of view. So that is really, really cool, right? Now,
Hmm.
when we were talking before tonight, and I'm doing my research, I see that you are originally from the DR, right?
Yep.
But you are now in Michigan.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about what led to your move from the DR to the United States.
Yeah, so I moved here to Michigan when I was 18 because I just graduated from high school, and
Mm,
I wanted to come to the States because I wanted to go to college here.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, I don't know why Michigan. I think I had a neighbor that he went to high school here, like he did his last year of high school, and then he sent out a video, and it was in Michigan, and I'm like, I want to go to Michigan. That's the only reason why I came to Michigan. It was just, I've never been here. But we actually ended up having like a family of a family that was here. So they welcomed me and my mom, and we stayed there with them for a little bit. And we just started making a life here. So I went to, um, first, I went to community college. So I went to
Mhm.
Grand Rapids Community College. And then after that, I transferred to Michigan State University and I finished my undergrad. And then after that, I took a year off and then I was just working at a college. And then I went back to school and then I went to Western Michigan University and then I got my master's in counseling. And then after that, I have my own brand. Not related whatsoever, but,
No,
but
but
it was just something I wanted.
no, but that's interesting that you say that because I believe that knowledge is transferable, and I think there's a lot of times we do things and we don't recognize that the information that we have or the knowledge that we have could actually be used in different ways. Now, if you really think about it, right? If you really think about it, sometimes it is.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, one of my questions here for you is like you studied counseling and your sister
Yep.
studied hospitality and recruitment, right?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um, so what do you think? I mean, what do you think, if anything, from those two areas of study that you've taken and you've applied to this business, applied to developing your brand?
Yeah.
Whether it's from a developmental point of view, marketing, customer experience, what do you think applies?
Mm-hmm. Behavior. So yeah, my background, of course, is not in business or marketing. It's in behavior. It's in just human behavior and human acts. And I think it also me not coming into owning a business, not knowing any knowledge about anything, and the type of personality that I have. For example, like I'm very an introverted person. I'm very quiet. I don't like being in front of a group of people. Like it just takes me a while to get used to, a group and then be more vocal about things. And then having this business has taught me more about myself and has made me more comfortable talking to other people and networking because I wasn't networking at first because I didn't want to put myself out there. And again, that's a personality trait, but then this business just made me have more passion about it and also learn about myself. And that's where the kind of like the counseling background comes into it because you get to learn who you are.
Yeah, no, that's true, and I think a lot of a lot of beauty business owners, especially when you have an indie brand, you know, that personal brand is so critical to your growth, and it's so critical to people really relating and saying, okay, I understand this story, and I'm feeling her on this, you know, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like this is something I could truly relate to. So your business could really be transformational for you personally, because you will see all of your own values expressed in the business. So if you're an introvert and don't like to be seen, rest assured your business is probably not visible either.
Oh yeah. I
It's probably
learned that.
for
Yes.
sure.
I learned that the first year.
Yeah, people are like, I didn't know. Are you really doing that? I didn't. I had no idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh, my business is me. This is my child, and my child is
Yeah.
behaving like this. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So yeah. So tell us a little bit about Ella's Eve now, or because I know we have to talk about the evolution of Ella's Eve, but tell us a little bit about Ella's Eve and like what was that aha, that one? Because sometimes things are building, little things, and then you sometimes just have a moment like, okay, that's enough. I have to have this line. What was that aha moment for you that made you
Mm-hmm.
say,
Yeah.
launch your own cosmetics?
So I got into makeup when I was in like my early 20s, and that's because back then YouTube was a thing. Like, makeup tutorials was a thing. And there was, that's when influencers started to come out, and makeup gurus and all that, self makeup gurus. So I got into makeup and just looking at people, that kind of look like me, and just learn how to do my makeup, because before I didn't know how to do my makeup. And also, makeup helped me learn to love my features, because one thing that I was always self conscious about was this birthmark that I have right here, which is just, it's like skin, it's like my skin. But I've always been self aware about it when I was younger. Not anymore. I forget that I have it at this point.
Yeah,
So I would like cover it. But it was through playing with makeup that I learned not to cover it, because I'm like, why am I going to cover this? Like, this is me. This is who I am. So I learned to love who I was through color.
right.
And so you know, that's how I fell in love with makeup. And then in regards to having my own brand, so my mom has always been an entrepreneur. Like, she's always like selling stuff and things like that. So we get our entrepreneurial side from her.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had this thing that I wanted to have my own brand. I just wanted to have something that reflected me, and that I just wanted to do like a difference, have something that makes a difference, and also something that makes me passionate about, which is makeup and just playing with colors. And that's how my sister was the same way too. So that's how we just started talking one day, and I'm like, what if we actually have a brand? And then, okay, so we started doing research. And again, we don't have a background in marketing or business or anything like that, or cosmetology. We just started Googling things, and researching manufacturing companies, and how to form a business, and what's an LLC. And you do, like different things that you need to do. And that's how LLC came to be.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I mean, I guess it's a lot of little things that kind of came together and then just mushroomed into.
Hmm.
So that's pretty cool. Okay. So what would you say is the most unique thing about your line of cosmetics? Like, if I had to pick one reason to buy it, what would that
Hmm.
be?
I would say relatability, because one thing that I see a lot in makeup brands is not only the lack of representation, but also, which is, it's kind of getting better now, but also when you look at ads, when you look at makeup ads, even like from other indie beauty brands, there's always women that look like models. Which, there's nothing bad against these women, because these women are beautiful, but it's like I never see a brand that shows like relatable people, like relatable women. And that's one thing that I wanted to make LSE about. Um, and that's the one thing, relatability, just making people relate to us.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, yeah, I think I agree with that. Sometimes I look at these ads too, and they're so Photoshop.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
whose find shimmers like that. Nobody. That is not.
Mm,
I mean, where are the creases? Where are the shadows? Where are they? You know what I mean? And sometimes I'm like, okay, so is it that I'm going to have a wearable filter on my face? Is that what's going to happen when I put makeup on? So
yeah.
that's, in terms of seeing different people. But I'm seeing brands now more and more using a lot of user generated content for, as you said, it's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Other user generated content for their Instagrams and their social media, and like reposting a lot of people who just, you
Yeah.
know, regular people who are using their products, right?
Yep.
So is that something that you guys do now? Is that something that you include?
Yeah. So right now our content is a little slow because we're in the process of rebranding.
Right.
But before our content, yeah, like we would have people that would get our products, just tag us on their videos and their pictures, and then just use them as our models, like seriously,
Yeah.
but also just showing people who LSE was and who we are representing. So yeah, we definitely rely on general content creators.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So you've been around since 2018, so that's 4 years in business, which
Hmm.
I mean it's a long time because some people never make it out the starting blocks.
Yeah.
So I mean that's really good. So what was your launch like? How did you introduce Ella's Eve to the world, and what were people's initial response?
So, when it was at first, it was not a wow moment. Like it was not that because again, we came into this with very minimal and limited knowledge, and I would follow other smaller brands and see what they're doing and trying to get inspired by them, but I wasn't putting myself out there, and I wasn't. So like, yeah, the first year was not a good year, to be honest. Real talk. Because I was learning what I needed to learn, and then I realized, hold on a second, I need to put myself out there because more and more people are wanting to relate to the person behind the brand.
Of
Like, who
course,
is the
yeah.
person behind the brand? And that's what I learned during that year. So then I started networking in Facebook groups, and then I started to like comment and reach out to other smaller businesses and other smaller indie beauty brands, and just putting myself out there, and then making videos myself and taking pictures myself about me, like using the products. And that was, a huge thing for me because I did not want to put myself out there for other people's judgments or opinions. Because what if they don't like me? What if they don't?
Yeah.
Then you just learn to let that go because everybody's gonna have an opinion of you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
um so yeah, it was not that big a thing, but throughout the 4 years that we have been, yes, we're being more received. We have been grateful for the support of other people and other smaller businesses and even local smaller businesses. I had one time that I was at a pop-up event that we were doing locally here, and this one lady, she came to us and she was like, I'm so proud of you guys because you're Latina and you're doing your thing, and we don't see this a lot, and that made me feel like I'm doing something right. um
Yeah.
so that to me was the aha moment.
So it was the aha moment that you
Yeah.
were doing something right because you felt seen. I mean, and you
Yep.
were seen.
Yep. Yeah.
You felt seen, right? So I just want to take a moment to acknowledge all the viewers who are looking on. Guys, drop some lipstick emojis in the comments so that we know that you're here. And tell us, could you relate to not wanting to put yourself out there? Lots of people actually kind of feel the same way because social media could be a really savage place.
Oh
It
yeah.
can be a savage place, and people say things to get attention at the expense of, bruising you mentally, and I suppose bruising your spirit. You know what I mean? And it really is something to take note of. That's why I think it's important to talk to other entrepreneurs too, because I mean, you guys can relate to each other. So did you? I know you said you joined Facebook group, but did you like seek support from other entrepreneurs? Like, was that a part of your process too?
Mm-hmm. I would, yeah, with some people because sometimes you have a certain connection with some certain people, like
Mm,
either because you have things that you relate to and things like that. So I have been honest and truthful to some people that I have more of a connection with, and we share things, and well, this is not working, or I like this is why I'm having issue, and things like that that you share. So yeah, I have a few smaller beauty brands that I have connected with.
Okay. So we have Rachel. Well, we have Reese, who's behind the Rachel Bahadur Roberts, who's dropping some lipstick. So thanks for the love and all the lipsticks. We appreciate it so much, Reese. All right. And of course, guys, share this stream. I saw somebody shared it just now. Share this show with somebody who you think needs it. There are so many people developing beauty brands now, and we all need to support each other and learn from each other, because there are many lessons to be learned. We all don't have to work in silos. You can actually avoid some error some things you have to go through. There's no
Mm-hmm.
ifs, ands, or buts about it, but some things you don't. So listen up and share this stream.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so you said you had limited experience. So what would you say though? Um what would you say are the top three things that you did right when you launched?
My, my niece just came in. Heavy not. I'm busy. Okay. Okay.
It
Can you
happens,
repeat your?
you
We just had a.
know.
What was your question again? I'm sorry.
So my question was, okay, I acknowledge that you didn't have a whole bunch of experience, but if you had to name three things that you did right, what would those three things be?
Go for it and not give up. That was the first one.
Mhm.
Face my fears, because I was a quiet person. I'm still a quiet person, not as much, and just putting
Mhm.
myself out there. So that was a huge thing for me.
Yeah,
And just making other people feel seen and proud.
yeah.
So those are my three things
What would you say are three things that you didn't get right?
that I didn't get right. I would say not putting myself out there. That was a bad choice of myself. um, not seeking help, because there's so many local um, um, organizations that help smaller businesses and local
Mhm.
smaller business. Like, I did not seek help at all about how to do things. I just did everything by researching myself and with the limited information that I had. So that was one thing that I wish I didn't know, because there were so many resources out there, and most of them are free or even like super inexpensive. So
Yeah.
that's one thing I wish I would have done too. And then a third one, I would say not.
Oh, Melissa, is she frozen? Guys, are you still seeing me on the stream? So it seems like Melissa is back. Let's get her in here.
I
Hey,
don't know what
Melissa.
happened. I lost my Wi-Fi.
It happens, girl. It happens. Sometimes they try to hold us down, but we will survive. We
Yeah.
will survive, right? So you were saying about the things that you got wrong and you would do differently.
hmm
Mm,
Yeah, and those were just putting myself out there, not seeking advice from local organizations that help smaller businesses, and just being consistent.
yeah. Oh, being consistent. Oh my God, that is so important. I know being consistent comes down really a lot of times to building the systems to have things be consistent, right? It
hmm
means consistent in frequency, it means consistent in voice, visuals, positioning, it means consistency in a lot of things, because that is what engenders trust and allows people to see you as somebody who is worth paying
Yeah.
attention to. You know what I
hmm
mean? So you definitely want, so that consistency. I think everybody goes through that. It seems so simple, but it's the simplest, most difficult task to do.
Yep. Yep. It
to
is.
to remain consistent. You know what I mean? So I completely understand. So tell us a little bit about some of the products you have in your line. I mean, how many did you start with? Did you start with one and then expand it out? Did
hmm
you? So tell us a little bit about that.
We started with one product and we started with 5 shades of those products. So the one product that we started was the liquid matte, the velvet matte liquid lipstick. And we started with that brand, with that product, because my one go-to product is the lipstick. It's always been lipstick. I have a bunch of lipsticks in my vanity from many different brands, so I'm a lipstick obsessed. So that's why we started with lipstick. And we just started with 5 shades that we felt complemented every skin tone. And then after that, we
Yeah.
added the lip lacquers. And we started with 3 shades from that, and then we added more. Oh, thank you. And we added more from there. And then we added our eyeshadow palette, which is just representing self-love and confidence. So that's the theme of the palette. The shade names are empowering names. So every time that you open the palette, it reminds you you are beautiful, you're powerful. So that's one thing. And then our last product that we added was a lip care duo, which was a organic vegan, our first ever organic and vegan product. And it's just a lip scrub, vanilla scented, but very, very subtle, and also a lip conditioner.
Oh, nice,
But those
nice.
are
Okay, so this
sold
is your
out.
product.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
yeah.
it's so loud. Okay, nice. So, because I know the advice is that you should start with one product and then work your way back, because trying to do too much too soon can really overwhelm you. So it's good that you started with that one product. So we have Reese saying that, I think Reese is a girl or boy, I'm not sure. They love the colors, right? So that person loves the colors, which is lovely. So
Mm-hmm.
so yes, I agree with the matte. I wear matte lipstick, and I have a dream to launch a line of matte lipsticks only
Yeah.
because for women with full lips, because sticky lip lacquer is too much for us. It gets messy. It's
Mm-hmm.
just too much. So I completely understand the need
Mm-hmm.
for the matte lipsticks. All right. So what was it like opening a business with your sister? Like doing business with family? What was that like? Tell
Well, it's a good thing because it gets us closer a little bit more, and we get to learn more about each other. But it
us.
also, we're sisters. We're gonna butt heads every once in a while, like if we don't agree about something. So, we've never been like where we get mad at each other like for a long time. Never been like that. We just like, if we disagree, we disagree, and that's that. We might get mad for with each other for like a day, but then that's okay. So yeah, it's a family business, and I like it that way, and that because that's the only person that I trust. So to run a business, I want somebody that I know. And I just like that everybody that has supported us or that helped us packs order and things like that is our family and friends. So yeah, it works.
They were, yeah. But I mean, doing business with because I mean, a lot of, if you really think about it, a lot of the mega businesses in the world are family-owned businesses. They're
Oh yeah.
family-owned,
Hmm.
and I truly do believe that people of color, regardless, need to have more businesses like that. And women also need to have more businesses like that. You know what I mean? Because I mean, as necessary. You said something earlier, and I wanted to chime in when you talked about a lot of
Hmm.
brands being owned by men, and that is very true.
Hmm.
What struck me was that, I don't know if you saw recently that Mac launched a new podcast. Mac,
Hmm.
and it's hosted by two guys. I'm like, what is this? I think it's called the T Zone. You have to check it out. It's called the T Zone, and I was very shocked to know that they have no female representation on the podcast. It's crazy. Maybe it's a guest or two, but that was just an aside. But I thought that was something that that was interesting to note. All right,
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't know that they started a podcast, but I will check it out.
The T Zone, yeah, Max had the podcast. All right. So we've been talking about Ella's Eve, but now you are about to step into or are you actually going through a process of change and evolution and rebranding?
Hmm.
And So tell us about why you're doing this rebranding and tell us about it.
So we um one of the things that I always wanted to do with Ellis Eve was to celebrate diversity and be as inclusive as we can so that other people can that feel that they're not represented, that they are feeling represented. So, and I feel like with Ellis Eve, it was a good stepping stone and it's a good learning experience. But I feel we're gonna be changing the name to Ring of Color because it's a name that represents inclusivity and it's a name that celebrates diversity. And that's why we're going into changing the name because it just makes more sense as to what we were trying to do with the brand.
Right. So now you're going to you're going to position your brand um as a diverse brand because it was very Latina focused in the past,
Mm-hmm.
right? Very Latina
Mm-hmm.
focused. So, um, did you find that that was a handicap when it was very Latina focused? Did it limit the amount of people who were interested, who purchased, who bought? Could you make any correlation between the two?
Yes and no. Like, yes, I was very proud of like saying this is a Latina owned brand, it's a woman owned brand, and I love the support that we got from the Latina community. But I
Mhm.
also felt like I wanted to tap into the people that are not being seen as well as much. And
Mhm.
and I'm all about being inclusive. And I have this thing where I like to just include other people because there are times that you feel like you're left out, like at school, like things like that, and I don't want people to feel that way. And of course we're still going to promote Ring of Color as a Latina owned, women owned brand, but it's not just for Latina women because I feel like we were just trying to focus so much on that we were just leaving other people out that are not being represented. And diversity and inclusivity to me is very important. Um, and I know, that we are a minority and we are not as represented, but again, I just want to be including everybody.
Um, so what can we see? What can we expect to see that's different about this brand? What we're going to see different product wise, marketing wise? What can we look forward to? What?
Well,
Take it one.
marketing wise, it's gonna, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say take it one at a time. What will we see different product wise?
Product wise, so we're gonna bring our two founding or well, our two founding products are gonna be back because I just first of all those are two products that people love, which is the velvet matte and the liquid and the lip lacquer. I don't want to touch those because I feel like why are you gonna mess with something that's not
What
messy?
is that?
Like why like if something is working, why mess up with it?
Yeah,
So those
yeah.
are coming back with us. And then yes, we have been working on other products that we are going to be adding to the new name. But the lacquers and the mats are gonna come back because again, I'm in love with our formula. I'm not gonna mess that up. So yeah, those are coming back. And then as far as vision wise and marketing wise, this is going to be a more fun brand where you're going to see relatable people having fun and just enjoying girls night and just being an everyday woman brand.
An everyday woman brand. All right. So does Ring of Color do any? So let's talk a little bit about because I know sustainability is a big thing for a lot of beauty brands now. Does that play any role in your brand at all? Do you consider that in terms of making your product, your packaging, anything like that?
Yeah, we do, but at the same time, because it is a smaller brand with limited resources, we don't have as much of resources of other brands done. So I do consider sustainability as an important aspect of a brand, and I take that into account with like the unicorns and like packaging like that. I could probably work better on the components of the actual products, but at this point, I don't I don't have the resources for that yet. So, but eventually, when we become big, which I know we're gonna become big, then
Yeah.
we are going to work on recreating a better sustainable brand.
I mean, and that's totally okay. I mean, you don't need to be known for everything. You just need to find your your zone of genius. You need to find your niche and double down on that. You know what I mean? But it's something that's interesting. I always think about this because I hear you talk about being inclusive and making a space for everybody with your brand, right? But how do you reconcile that with finding a niche? I always find that those are two difficult ideas to bring together. We wanted to include everybody, but also having a niche. Because they
Mm-hmm.
say, or niche, some people say, the richer is in the niches.
Mm-hmm.
How do you kind of reconcile those two ideas?
Well, I think I have this idea in my head of how I wanted to work this out, and I just feel like I kind of want to represent every type of diversity at its own. So I feel like our niche is always gonna be changing and changing, and I feel like that would always evolve into something that people will find and that they will relate to. So that's how my head is trying to make it work. Um, and that's I just feel like it's a different thing, and I feel like I would see different results.
Okay, well, I guess you have to keep monitoring it, and when you come across that niche that explodes. And I know
Hmm.
business is a slow growth game. You definitely want to take your time and develop what you can
Yeah,
develop. You know what I mean? All right.
yeah.
All right. So I think we are coming down, winding down close to the end. And so tell us where
Hmm.
we find. So okay, so Ella's Eve is still being sold right now. Ring of Color hasn't begun start um being sold yet.
Right, 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 right.
Right.
Yeah.
So remind
So
us why, and do you ship internationally?
we do.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. So yeah, right now the LSE website is still running because we're still working on our new website. And
Right.
the hope is that everything should be done by next month, like late next month, because
Right.
we came with a hiccup recently. So like that's why I haven't shared like a specific date because I know things always happen. And
Right.
right now I'm shooting for next month. So the new website is gonna be live, and just we're gonna bring our color next month, and hopefully, but that is the plan.
All right. Okay. So tell us where we could find you right now.
So right now everything is called LSE Cosmetics, but everything is gonna be changed to Ring of Color. But you can find us on Instagram at LSE Cosmetics. Our
Yeah.
website is lsecosmetics.com.
Yeah.
We are on Facebook as well as LSE Cosmetics, and on Pinterest and on Twitter,
And
um,
on TikTok,
and TikTok. Can't forget about TikTok.
yes, as Ella's Eve Cosmetics. And as you said, the website is ella's.eve.cosmetics.com, right? So if you would like to learn more about this brand and more about Melissa and, well, Melissa, who will be the CEO of this company, and to shop Ella's Eve. If you have Latina friends and they want to add a brand that represents them to their mix of products, or even if you're not Latina and you just want to support the brand, feel free to check out lsecosmetics.com. We will be transitioning and evolving into Ring of Color pretty soon. So are you going to have a fire sale as you transition? Can we look forward to that?
Oh, you broke up there a little bit.
I said, are you going to have a fire sale as you transition from Ella's Eve to Ring of Color? Can we look forward to that?
You
Oh,
said a what? Sorry, it keeps breaking up when you say that.
maybe it's trying to stop me. I said, are you planning to have a fire sale as you transition from one brand to the
Oh,
next?
yeah, yeah. So right now we actually have our discounted huge sale. So everything is 50% off right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
with the mats and the palette and the lacquer. So yeah, if you want to check us out and try and see what we're about, I would definitely go right now to our website lzcosmetics.com because everything is 50% off.
All right, guys. So, I mean, this is a chance to shop. Maybe you can get, okay, our Valentine's Day has come and gone, but maybe there's a birthday coming up, maybe there's an anniversary coming up, or maybe you just want to feel good and look good. So, you want to get some new lip
Mm-hmm.
lacquer, new matte lipsticks, a new eyeshadow palette. You can definitely check out Ella's Eve Cosmetics. So, Melissa, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you again for allowing me to share about LSE Cosmetics slash Ring of Color and just sharing my story and about the brand.
All right, awesome. All right, guys. So I want to thank everybody who came onto the stream tonight, whether you are watching live or you are watching the replay. I appreciate your presence, all the comments. Rachel Reese, who has been commenting all evening about it, and Ramona, who was here, who also shared the stream. I appreciate your presence. So next week we're going to have another amazing guest here on the Lipstick Effect. As usual, I will bring you the news from around the globe, and of course, as a beauty brand strategist, I know there are lots of beauty brand owners who are launching brands, and they're really not quite sure how to sell, how to market it. And this is why I'm here, so I can help you brand and market your beauty brand, so you can launch it, get it into the hands of people who want it, and make that bank. Right. So feel free to visit my website at jbarnesterbranding.com. You can book a discovery call. We could talk about what you want for your brand so you can scale that up and get there. Soon, I will be also be revamping my website where you will have some great free resources that you can download and get so you can really understand what it takes to take your brand from being just an idea or unknown, right? I want to just an idea from being unknown because you can have it. I don't want you to buy a whole bunch of product and then have it in your garage or have it in your bedroom because it's not selling. The point is to create a plan and a system to get it out onto the market it, craft the right message, build a proper website, build a proper funnel, and get it out into the hands. And most of all, make that cha-ching. So
Mm-hmm.
feel free to visit my website and book a call on that if that is what you would like to do. So once again, thanks for checking out tonight's episode of the Lipstick Effect, and check us out right here next week where we'll be back with another episode and another amazing guest to give you what is amazing and great out there in the world of beauty. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.